Hello friends, in this video we are going to learn a concept called as half-wave symmetry and hidden half-wave symmetry, and along with that we will be solving some numericals based on Fourier series. Let us start. In last two video lectures we have done a Fourier series analysis for figure 1 and figure 2. In figure 1, if you remember, we got DC value equal to 0. Secondly, since the signal was even signal, therefore we got only cosine terms, because we know that for every even signal only cosine terms are present in Fourier series, whereas if the signal is odd, only sine terms are available in its Fourier series. Since it is even signal, we got only cosine terms. And third and very important point, that we got only odd harmonics. Right? Similarly, for figure 2, which we have learned in Fourier series part 2 lecture, we have concluded some points. First, DC value was equal to 0. Secondly, this is a odd signal, and we know that whenever a signal is an odd signal, we get only sine terms in its Fourier series. So we got only sine terms. And third, we have seen we got only odd harmonics in the Fourier series. So I just want to compare figure 1 and figure 2's analysis of Fourier series, and we are going to select common factors out of it. So after comparison, you will notice that DC value in both the cases were 0. That is, in case of figure 1, DC value equal to 0, and even in case of figure 2, DC value equal to 0. So this is the first common factor I got. Secondly, figure 1 is an even signal, whereas figure 2 is odd signal. So we cannot actually say second point is a common point. Here we got only cosine terms because it is even signal. We got only sine terms because it is odd signal. So we cannot consider second point as a common point. But for sure, this is the first common point we got, that is DC value equal to 0. Third, in figure 1, in Fourier series we have seen only odd harmonics were present. Even in case of figure 2, we got only odd harmonics here. So what is meant by odd harmonics? For example, if we consider this given x of t signal, whether it is figure 1 or figure 2, it is periodic with respect to time period t. So if I assume that t is a fundamental time period, then omega naught, which is given as 2 pi by capital T, called as a fundamental frequency. Then odd harmonics means we will get frequencies like this, that is omega naught, then we will get 3 omega naught, then I'll get 5 omega naught, then I'll get 7 omega naught, and so on. Whereas if I assume omega naught as fundamental frequency, 3 times omega naught is called as a third harmonic, whereas 5 times omega naught it is called as fifth harmonic. And of course, when I say 7 times omega naught, it is a seventh harmonic. But every time you see, I'm getting only odd harmonics, that is third harmonic, fifth harmonic, seventh harmonic. Every time we take n value equal to even, we used to get 0 value. So all even harmonics are 0, only odd harmonics are present, and second common factor is that we got DC value in both the cases equal to 0. So I'm again going to highlight only these 2 points. First point, DC value in both the cases equal to 0, and second and very important point, that only odd harmonics are present. So whenever in particular x of t, after having Fourier series, if you observe these two categories or observe these two things, first DC value equal to 0, and secondly only odd harmonics are present, then you should understand that it has the another inherent property called as half wave symmetry. I repeat, that inherent property is called as half wave symmetry. So what is exactly meant by half wave symmetry, and how to identify the half wave symmetry is present in given x of t? Let us see. So here we are going to understand how to check half wave symmetry. So you can see a relation. If this relation is satisfied by given x of t signal, then we say that the given x of t signal is a half wave symmetry signal. So what I'm actually trying to tell you, the relation is x of t plus minus t by 2 is equal to minus of x of t. If this relation is satisfied, the given signal is said to be half wave symmetry signal. So let us verify whether this condition is satisfied for the given figure. So looking at this, we have identified that this is figure number 2. So the value of amplitude was 10 here and this was minus 10. So let us check whether this condition is satisfied or not. So how to check it? It is very simple. The given x of t signal, you either delay or you can advance by t by 2. As you can see over here, this is the factor by which we can either advance or delay, because we have two options. You can either advance or you can delay. And after doing so, if you get minus of x of t, then we can say that the given x of t signal is a half wave symmetric signal. So we will check whether it is half wave symmetric signal or not. And if it is half wave symmetric, then there are two conclusions we can make out. First, DC value in such signal is always equal to 0. And second, only odd harmonics are present in its Fourier series. Right? So let us check whether the given signal is a half wave symmetric signal or not. So what I'll do over here, I'll try to plot x of t plus t by 2. So what I'm trying to do over here is I'm going to advance the given x of t signal by t by 2. So you know that whenever you advance by t by 2, every interval should be subtracted by t by 2. So what I'll do 0 minus t by 2, then t by 2 minus t by 2. Here t minus t by 2 will happen. Even at negative side also minus t by 2 minus t by 2 will happen, right? So let us try to draw x of t plus t by 2. So just see carefully. Since I'm subtracting t by 2 from 0, so this gets shifted to minus t by 2. T by 2 minus t by 2 becomes 0. So this gets shifted to 0. Then t minus t by 2 becomes t by 2 and so on. In fact, this minus t by 2 minus t by 2 becomes minus t. So these are new timestamps at which I have to draw a characteristic accordingly. So now you can observe here. So just check what is present between 0 to t by 2. You can check from 0 to t by 2. Now minus 10 is present. So from 0 to t by 2, minus 10 is present. So I'll draw minus 10 here. So minus 10 is present from 0 to t by 2. Then we will check what is present between t by 2 to t. So when I say this is t by 2, this has to be t. So between t by 2 to t, again plus 10 is present. So from t by 2 to t, plus 10 is present. So I'll be getting such type of square wave now. And since it is a periodic in nature, definitely it is going to repeat its pattern. So naturally I'll be getting this way. So this is x of t plus t by 2. We will have to check whether this is equivalent to minus of x of t. And how do we check minus of x of t? Of course, by multiplying the given x of t signal with minus 1. So what is ultimately going to happen when you multiply a particular signal with a constant value, then by its amplitude also gets multiplied by the same factor. Like when I say minus of x of t, it means you are multiplying the given x of t signal with minus 1. So positive amplitude will become negative and negative amplitude becomes positive. So positive 10 will become minus 10 and minus 10 will become positive 10. In fact, we'll be getting this kind of signal. Is that right? So here I'll be getting 10, here I'll be getting minus 10. This is 0. So this is your minus of x of t. And now you will see that both the signals are same. In case if this relation gets satisfied, then mathematically we know that it is what we called as a half wave symmetric signal. So whenever it is a half wave symmetric signal, we understood and we have learned two things. First, DC value for such signal x of t is always equal to 0. And second, and very important to remember, that in its Fourier series, only odd harmonics are present. What is meant by odd harmonics are present? If the fundamental frequency for given x of t signal is omega naught, then I'll get frequency components this way: omega naught, 3 omega naught, 5 omega naught, 7 omega naught. That is, only odd harmonics component would be present. Ultimately, if you remember, Fourier series is nothing but converting the given signal x of t, or to decompose the given signal x of t into its frequency components. We are actually interested to see what are frequency component present in given x of t. So from such Fourier series, we come to know that we got only odd frequency components, that is omega naught, 3 omega naught, 5 omega naught, 7 omega naught, and such signal is called as a half wave symmetry signal. So one thing is clear, that whenever this condition is satisfied, DC value will be always equal to 0 for given half wave symmetry signal. Secondly, only odd harmonic component would be present in its Fourier series. Now, since you know what is the method, how to check mathematically as well as graphically whether the given x of t signal is a half wave symmetry signal or not, let me tell you. Right now we have a square wave, and it is quite easy to deal with a square wave, that is to delay a square wave or to multiply the given signal with -1. But thereafter we'll be coming across a different shapes of signal. There it becomes quite difficult to delay exactly by t by 2. There you can commit a mistake, and which will result into a wrong result. So you may not be in a position to identify whether it is a half wave symmetry signal or not. So I'll tell you a smarter way. Without actually doing these things, you can still identify with a short trick how to see whether the given signal is a half wave symmetry signal or not. So let us see. Listen to me very carefully. So the trick is very simple. First, you have to see a negative half cycle of the given signal. I repeat what I said. For given x of t, just concentrate on negative half portion of the given x of t. Try to shift that negative part upward. Then after shifting that part upward, that is, just try to draw a mirror image of it, then it will look like this. It will certainly look like this. So what I did, I have identified what was its negative portion, and after doing so, I have taken a mirror image of that negative half cycle upward. And once you do that, you just try to shift the given mirror image towards its right or towards its left, wherever you can. If you do so, if it exactly fits on the right hand side or on the left hand side, then definitely the given signal is a half wave symmetry signal. So I repeat what I said. So let us say we add this signal, and we have to check whether it is half wave symmetric or not. So first point, as I said, that you have to identify this negative portion and you have to draw its mirror image. The mirror image would become like this. Then try to place this mirror image towards its right or towards its left, wherever you can. So let me just shift it to right hand side, so it will exactly fit over here. And if it is so, then definitely the given signal is a half wave symmetry signal. So as I said, if you actually use this trick, it becomes very easy for you to identify the given signal is a half wave symmetry or not. Otherwise, you'll end up your time following this procedure, that is shifting the given signal by plus or minus t by 2, and also multiplying the given x of t with -1, and then to check whether two results are same or not. If they are same, it is half wave symmetry. If they are not same, then it is not half wave symmetry. So in a way, you are going to waste your time, and as I keep on saying, in GATE, time is money for you. So this is a new concept now we are going to learn, that is a hidden half wave symmetry. Before we go to hidden half wave symmetry, let us summarize what half wave symmetry means. Half wave symmetry means the condition should get satisfied, that is x of t plus minus t by 2 should become equal to minus of x of t. If the given condition is satisfied, then x of t signal is a half wave symmetry signal, and under half wave symmetry signal, we always get DC value equal to 0. Secondly, in its Fourier series, we get only odd harmonics component, that is omega naught, 3 omega naught, 5 omega naught, 7 omega naught, and so on. That is, all even harmonics components are always equal to 0. So if I understand what is meant by half wave symmetry, let us understand a new term, hidden half wave symmetry. Let us see why it is called as hidden half wave symmetry. From the name, it is itself clear that this half wave symmetry is not visible because it is hidden. And why it is hidden? Let us understand the first point. Sometimes it is observed that due to DC addition, nature of the signal may not be visible as even, odd, or half wave symmetric. So what is the meaning of it? Let us say you see some x of t signal. Looking at that x of t signal, you know by observation how to identify whether the signal is even, whether the signal is odd, or even by a given trick just before a minute, you know that how to identify whether the given signal is a half wave symmetric signal or not. Sometimes it happens because of some DC addition in the signal. I mean, before they presented this x of t in front of you, they must have added some DC value inside it, and because of which it had that half wave symmetry, but now it becomes hidden. So you have to observe the given signal carefully and you have to identify that half wave symmetry is hidden, and somehow you have to make it visible. So how to make it visible? For that we have to go for the second point. Second point says shift in signal such a way that half wave symmetry becomes visible. In that case, it is called as hidden half wave symmetry. So what is meant by this? For example, let us assume some signal which is already half wave symmetry. Suppose you have added some DC signal with it. You know that whenever in a particular signal you add some DC signal, it either gets shifted upward or it gets shifted downward. This operation is popularly known as a clamping operation. Am I right? In analog electronics, you must have learned this concept called as a clamping, where we shift the signal upward or we can shift the signal downward. So what really happens? It loses its symmetry. This symmetry could be even symmetry, this symmetry could be odd symmetry, or it can be a half wave symmetry. But now it is hidden because of the DC insertion. So because of the DC insertion, if it is hidden, and if I try to remove that DC out of it, then this half wave symmetry becomes visible again. I hope you got my point. And if not, then in the problems with some example, I'll try to make you understand this point again. The third point is very, very important. The mode of shift that you are trying to make in a given x of t signal, because of which its half wave symmetry is now visible, it is nothing but your DC value. So with example, as I said, I'll make it clear to you. So this is an example of a half wave symmetry signal. So look at x of t. I'm sure you will understand that there is no half wave symmetry inside it. And to tell you, there is actually a half wave symmetry, and since it is not visible, we can say it is quite hidden. So how to identify whether it has a half wave symmetry or a hidden half wave symmetry? So since it is not visible, but if you imagine a bit, as you can see, what is an amplitude over here? It is 2. Suppose if I shift this signal towards downward side by 1. So if I'm moving this signal to downward side by 1 unit, let us figure out what type of figure I'll get. So since it is shifted downward, new amplitude over here will become +1. And by same quantity, now it has got shifted downward. So the maximum negative value will get -1. So maximum positive value I'm getting 1, maximum negative value I'm getting -1. And if you observe carefully, you can understand this is what we called as figure number 1. I have told you in last 2 videos that you have to remember those standard figures as figure 1 and figure 2. Figure 1 was even signal, figure 2 was odd signal, and the common factor that both were a square wave. So it is important to remember its structure. So this is figure 1, and if it is figure 1, then of course it is a half wave symmetric signal. Is that right? But then tell me, by observing the signal, do you think half wave symmetry was obvious? No, half wave symmetry was hidden. What I did is I have subtracted the given signal from -1, because of which after lowering the amplitude by unit, it became a half wave symmetric signal. So I cannot call this signal as a half wave symmetric signal. I should say it is a hidden half wave symmetric signal. So to be very appropriate, it is hidden half wave symmetric signal. Secondly, the question is, how did I get this signal from the given signal? Then the answer is by subtracting 1. So by subtracting 1. Now if I take a mod of it, it becomes plus 1. Then I would say this plus 1 is nothing but a DC value. And this is what we called as A not equal to 1. So this is nothing but a DC value. Since it is a half wave symmetric signal, whether it is hidden or it is not hidden, the point is it is a half wave symmetric signal, then we know that only odd harmonics are present in its Fourier series. So second point. Now the question is, what is the difference between half wave symmetric signal and hidden half wave symmetric signal? It's a very important point. In half wave symmetric signal, we always get DC value equal to 0, whereas in hidden half wave symmetric signal, DC value is always present. You know that because of the DC insertion only, the given signal's nature is not obvious as half wave symmetric signal. The moment we subtract that DC, the moment we extract that DC signal from the given x of t, then only it becomes half wave symmetric signal. Therefore, in hidden half wave symmetric signal, DC value is always non-zero. But in half wave symmetric signal, DC value is always 0. And the similarity between half wave symmetric signal and hidden half wave symmetric signal is that in both the cases, we always get odd harmonic component in its Fourier series. So please remember that similarity is that we always get odd harmonics component, that is omega naught, 3 omega naught, 5 omega naught, 7 omega naught, and so on. That is even harmonics component are always 0. And in hidden half wave symmetry, DC value is present. In half wave symmetric signal, DC value is always 0. So that's the only 2 points you should remember. And now you are quite eligible to solve some problems on Fourier series. Let's see. So let us go through those questions. Question says, for periodic waveforms shown in the figure, what frequency components are present in trigonometric series expansion? Of course, we know that when it comes to Fourier series, a signal has to be a periodic signal, am I right? And 4 options are given, whether it has DC and cosine terms, whether it has DC and sine terms, cosine and sine terms, or none of this. You know what? A normal student who doesn't know how to solve the problems by trick would go for actual Fourier series formula. He will keep on calculating A naught, AN, and BN, and then he will expand it with the help of Fourier series. And then by observing that Fourier series, he will select that correct option. But I'll tell you how to solve this problem by a trick. See, observe x of t. Do you think that if you shift this signal either upward or downward, it is going to achieve some symmetry? When I say some symmetry, it can be even symmetry, it can be odd symmetry, or it can be half wave symmetry also. Please remember that this is what we called as a hidden symmetry. This hidden symmetry need not to be only hidden half wave symmetry. It can be hidden even signal, hidden odd signal, or hidden half wave symmetry signal. So let us see. So as you can see, amplitude is 2. So the trick is always try to shift the signal in such a way that we will get equal signal above 0 line and equal value signal below 0 line. So obviously I'm going to shift this signal by unit, that is by 1. So I'll be getting this kind of signal. I'll be getting this kind of signal. So this is a new x of t now. So one thing you should understand that definitely it is not having a hidden half wave symmetry. This is not half wave symmetry signal. Why so? You can observe like this. This is the negative portion. Am I right? So what trick I gave you? You have to shift that negative portion upward. That is by drawing its mirror image. So if you try to draw its mirror image, it would be like this. Now, even if you try to shift right or try to shift left, it will not fit on it. Am I right? So since it is not in a position to fit itself exactly same the way it is, then definitely it is not a half wave symmetric signal. So one thing is clear, that this is not having a half wave symmetry feature. So it was this kind of signal. So I have restored it. So this is plus 1, this is minus 1. So for sure it is not having half wave symmetry feature. But if you observe carefully, after shifting it downwards, you will see that the signal is a odd signal. We know that. We check symmetry like this. Is that right? So diagonally opposite, there has to be a symmetry, and only then the signal is said to be odd signal. So one thing is clear, that it is nothing but odd signal. But do you think that when x of t was given, you have identified that it was odd signal? No. Original x of t is definitely not an odd signal, but then it was hidden odd signal. The reason it is hidden, because we have extracted some DC value out of it. So definitely it will have some DC value. So first of all, its Fourier series must have DC value. And secondly, since it is odd signal, we know that for every odd signal, an is always equal to 0. Now you would say, sir, for odd signal, even a naught equal to 0. Yes, of course. If the original x of t signal is odd signal, then we can say that a naught equal to 0. That is DC value equal to 0. But then, if it is not odd signal, but hidden odd signal, in such cases, DC value is never equal to 0. Right? So DC value is present. And since it is odd signal, we know that only sign terms are present. Only sign terms are present. So now we'll go through the options. Option A says it will have DC and cosine terms. Absolutely, it is not suitable option. Option B says it will have DC and sine terms. So it is going with our analysis that it can have DC and sine terms, but then don't come to the conclusion. Let us see two more options also. Option C says cosine as well as sine terms. So one thing is very clear. Since it is the odd signal, definitely it will have no cosine term. So option C also goes away. And there is no way that we can even think for option D. So of course it is option D is the correct option. Let us go for the next question. So I would request you to pause the video and try to solve it yourself. And then after resuming, see to it whether whatever analysis that you have done is correct or not. Fine. I'm sure you must have got the correct answer. Let us see. So the question is same. For the given x of t signal, that is a periodic signal, you have to see what its trigonometric Fourier series will have out of 4 options. As I said, I keep on saying you should always check first of all whether it is even signal, odd signal, or a half wave symmetry signal. So by observation we can understand that definitely it is not even signal, and of course it is not even odd signal also. See very carefully, it is not odd signal. Okay, that is, it is not having any diagonal symmetry, and even after shifting also it is not going to have any even or odd symmetry for sure. But then this is having half wave symmetry. This is having half wave symmetry. So how do we go for half wave symmetry checking? Let me remind you again. As I said, you have to observe a negative half cycle and you have to take a mirror image of it. So mirror image of the negative half cycle would be like this. As you can see, whether you shift it towards right or towards its left, it fits very well. So it is going to fit very well, am I right? And in that case, it is definitely a half wave symmetry signal. So now we have understood that it is having half wave symmetry. And since it is not hidden half wave symmetry, right? It is originally having half wave symmetry. In such cases, DC value is always equal to 0. This is the first conclusion we should get. Second conclusion, you must understand that it will have only odd harmonics since it is half wave symmetry. So I would say only odd harmonics. Is that right? So let us go through the options, what it says. Option A says it will have sine as well as cosine term. We cannot comment actually. Without solving, we cannot surely say that it will have sine as well as cosine terms. Yes, it may have sine and cosine terms because it is neither even nor odd signal. It is neither even nor odd signal. But then, as I said, before you take that option, you have to see rest of the options and you have to select the most appropriate option. Option B says only odd harmonics. Option C says sine terms with odd harmonics. When they say sine terms with odd harmonics, means definitely it should be odd signal. So we know that this is not odd signal, so I cannot be sure that it will have only sine terms. But then yes, of course it will have odd harmonics. And option D says it will have DC and sine terms. Definitely, since it is half wave symmetry, DC value equal to 0. So we have to cut option D. right? We have to also cut option C because we cannot say it will have only sine terms with odd harmonics. Secondly, option A also we cannot be so sure because for that we have to actually solve and we have to check whether it will have sine as well as cosine terms. But one thing is very clear, since it is a half wave symmetry signal, definitely it will have only odd harmonics present. So the most appropriate option I would go for option B. So I'll cut option A also in this case. Let's move to the next problem. Again, the question statement is same. For a periodic signal shown in the figure, what frequency components are present in its trigonometric series expression? That is Fourier series expression. Let us see. Observe carefully. I keep on saying that you have to be very sure about previous two video lectures before you started with this. There we have gone for figure 1 and figure 2. Now observe figure R over here and try to identify whether it is figure 1 or figure 2. So of course it is figure 2. And when it is figure 2, we don't have to really analyze this. For figure 2, we know that it was having a feature as half wave symmetry signal plus it was odd signal also. It is odd signal also. So half wave symmetry is going to tell you that DC value is always equal to 0. So first point I got DC value equal to 0, and half wave symmetry also tells you that only odd harmonics are present. So DC value equal to 0, I would say only odd harmonics are present, and since it is odd signal, then it will have only sinusoidal component, that is sine components. We know that for even signal we always get cosine terms, and for odd signal we get sine terms. So it will have sine terms also. So let us see whether these things are matching in given options. Option A says only sine terms. Of course, we will have only sine terms. Am I right? But then other features are not covered in this. So as I said, you have to take the most correct option. Option B says sine terms with odd harmonics. Of course, we have sine terms along with odd harmonics also. Yes. But is it possible to get again a more appropriate option? We will check. So we are agree with option A also, option B also. What option C says? Sine terms with even harmonics. Now this is something which is not acceptable because they say even harmonics are present. We know that it is strictly half wave symmetry signal, and for half wave symmetry signal, even harmonics are always equal to 0. Let's go for option D. For option A and option B, so far we are agree on it. Option D says it will have DC, it will have cosine as well as sine term. So again, we will disagree with option D also. For option A and option B, we have to choose a correct one. That is the most appropriate one because both the options seems to be correct. Option A says sine terms are present. Of course, sine terms are present. But option B also supports sine terms with odd harmonics. So this is, as I said, the most appropriate answer. Option B is the correct option. So we will deselect option A also. The last one, that is S figure, you have to identify what frequency components are present in its trigonometric Fourier series expansion. Just see to it. So you have to see whether it is even odd or if it is having some hidden half wave symmetry. So for the sake of example, in last to last PPT we have taken the same example. So if you just shift it by half quantity, then it will look like this. So definitely it is nothing but hidden half wave symmetry. And in hidden half wave symmetry, DC value is always non-zero. Is that right? In fact, if they have given this amplitude is equal to 1, so I'm pretty sure that DC value is equal to 0.5. That is A naught value is 0.5. Am I right? So DC value is non-zero here. Secondly, since it is half wave symmetry signal, then definitely it will have only odd harmonics present. Along with that, if you see carefully, this is nothing but your figure 1 now. And figure 1 was even signal, and for even signal only cosine terms are present. So cosine terms are present. So let us see which option covers maximum things here. So option A says DC along with cosine terms. We are quite agree on this because DC component is present as well as cosine term is also present. Am I right? Option B says DC cosine terms with even harmonics. See, we would be disagree with this because we are not getting even harmonics when it comes to either half wave symmetry or hidden half wave symmetry. Option C says you will get DC, you will get cosine terms along with odd harmonics. Then you should take option C only. Is that right? Because option A gives you only half information, that it has only DC and cosine term, but option C speaks louder that it has DC cosine terms along with odd harmonics. So we should go for option C. Let's read the next question. Again, the question statement is same, only figure is different. So just look into the figure and you have to identify one of the option out of A, B, C, D. So this is actually option A, option B, option C, and option D. Let's see. So the maximum amplitude over here is 2 and it is minus 2 over here. So even though it doesn't look so, but then we have to accept it that maximum amplitude is plus 2 and the minimum amplitude is minus 2. So the point is, whatever portion magnitude that we have above 0, same to same portion we have downwards also. So in fact, this is a half wave symmetry signal by observation. So this is a half wave symmetry signal, because if you shift this thing upward, then it will look like this, and you can fit it to left hand side also, and you can keep it on right hand side also. It is going to fit well on the shifted one. So definitely it is a half wave symmetry signal, and also by observation it is an even signal. So it is half wave symmetry plus even signal. So what do you think? That half wave symmetry was a obvious half wave symmetry or it was a hidden one? Of course, it is a obvious half wave symmetry. We didn't have to really extract some DC value out of it. Is that right? So one thing is sure, that DC value equal to 0. Secondly, since it is even signal, then it will have only cosine terms. Along with that, it will have only odd harmonics. Let's see. Option A says DC. The moment they say DC, that's the point where we can cut the option. So option B, option C. So all of them are invalid options, because in the starting only they say that it has a DC component. So we know that of course DC value equal to 0 because it is a half wave symmetry signal. Then we should go for option D. None of, right? Let's move to the next problem. A periodic signal in a duration of one period is shown. Its Fourier series expansion includes. Try to understand that. Whenever they ask you any question related to Fourier series, please don't forget that the given signal is obviously a periodic signal. And they're very clear about it. It is a periodic signal, but only one duration signal is shown. It means it is a continuous, it is never ending. So same pattern would repeat here also, and same pattern will repeat towards its left side also. So let me just complete this figure. So we have 0 here. Let us say we have 1 here. Let us say we have 2 here. Since it is a periodic signal, it will repeat its structure. That is, before this, definitely we will have this kind of signal here. And this is -1, right? So this is how the actual signal is. Is that right? So maximum amplitude is 3 and the minimum negative amplitude is -1. So let's see. First of all, we will see whether it is even signal or odd signal. So by observation, we can understand it is neither even nor odd signal. We will see whether it has got some hidden symmetry or not. So of course, it has some hidden symmetry, because if you shift this signal towards downside by unit, that is by one quantity, then the maximum amplitude on positive scale it would be 2, and maximum amplitude on negative scale it will become -2. So signal structure would become like this. So signal will become like this. So maximum amplitude is +2 and maximum negative amplitude is -2 here. And by observation we can understand it is odd signal now. So it has hidden half wave symmetry. Along with hidden half wave symmetry, after extracting DC signal, we come to know that it is odd signal. In that case, since it is odd signal, it will have only sine components. Since it has got half wave symmetry, then it will have only odd harmonics. Secondly, since it is having hidden half wave symmetry, then definitely DC value is not equal to 0. So let's go through the options. What option says? First option says it will have cosine terms along with odd harmonics. We should cut this option because this is not even signal, this is odd signal. For even signal only we get cosine terms. For odd signals we get sine terms. But when the signal is neither even nor odd, as I said, we cannot comment what we will get, whether sine, cos or both. We cannot comment. Again, it depends upon the nature of signal. Option B says sine terms with odd harmonics. Yes, of course we have sine along with odd. So yes, this option B is acceptable, but as I said, you should go for other options also. Option C says sine terms with even harmonics. Of course, this option is wrong because it claims it is even harmonic. Option D says it is having cosine terms with even harmonics. First of all, we don't have cosine terms because it is not even. And secondly, it is not possible to get even harmonics because it is having half wave symmetry. So even option D is invalidated. Then of course, option B is the correct option. Let's move to the next question. So the question is, a function is given as f of t is equal to sine square of t plus cos of 2t. Which of the following is true? If you read all the options, it is asking you the frequency components present in the given f of t. Okay, we will see. First of all, I'll try to get that f of t as it is. F of t is equal to sine square of t plus cos of 2t. In fact, they have tried to give you a Fourier series. But let me tell you, this is not appropriate Fourier series because appropriate Fourier series will never have sine square and cos square components. It will always have sine components and cos components. So if I want to remove this sine square of t, you know that sine square theta is 1 minus cos 2 theta whole divided by 2. So I can rewrite sine square theta as 1 minus cos of 2t whole divided by 2 plus cos of 2t, or I can rewrite it as half minus half cos of 2t plus cos of 2t, or I can write it as half plus. So if I solve this, I'll get positive half of cos of 2t. Is that right? Now let us see. So this is what we called as a real Fourier series. So this is actual Fourier series, I can say, because it is not having any sine square or cos square component, out of which the first component is half, and we know that every constant component in Fourier series is what we called as a DC component. So this is a DC component, and when I say DC component, its frequency value is always 0. So I got the first component as 0 Hertz. So I can actually eliminate option C because option C is not involving 0 Hertz. But then a competition is still between three options, that is option A, option B and option D. Let's see the next. The second component is a cos component, and we know that if I compare with the standard one, it is actually cos omega t. So what I got is omega equal to 2. It is radians per second. So if I want frequency, I need to divide omega by 2 pi. So it is 2 divided by 2 pi. So 2 gets cancelled. So the next frequency component, the first frequency component is 0 Hertz, and the second frequency component I got is 1 by pi Hertz. Is that right? So let's see. So option A is the correct option because it is giving you correct frequencies, that is 0 and half pi. Okay, so it is not half pi. So it is not option A for sure. Let's go for option B. Option B says it is 0 and 1 by pi. So yes, option B is the correct option. So we need to eliminate option D also. So whenever such things are given and they ask you to find some frequency components, definitely the question is related to Fourier series. So this is how you should solve the problem. Let's move to the next one. The average value for the periodic signal x of t in figure is, so you have to get average value for this signal. So you know that, suppose if I say this is x of t signal, and if you want to get the average value, then average value is nothing but a DC value, and DC value is nothing but A naught. And I'm sure you remember what is A naught. A naught is 1 by t you have to integrate over a full period, that is 0 to t x of t dt. Is that right? Or it can be given as a naught is equal to 1 by t. In this case, if you see t, then I should go up to 6. So this is the pattern which it is repeating, am I right? So this is a complete time period. So what student really make mistakes, that by mistake they take t equal to 4. But let me tell you, t cannot be equal to 4. Even this blank portion should be taken as a part of a signal, am I right? So it is like this. Some shape is present and then there is no signal. Again same shape signal is present, then there is no signal, and same things keeps on repeating, am I right? So definitely t is not equal to 4. So what is t value? T value is equal to 6. So it is this way. Value of t is 6. So it is 1 by 6, 0 to 6, x of t dt. Am I right? So you know that the meaning of integration is nothing but area under the curve from 0 to 6. So this whole thing you can interpret this as area under the curve. So we know that since integration is area under the curve, and looking at the figure, when it is possible to get the area easily, you should not go for integration because it is going to save your time. So I can do it like this. Okay. So I got one triangle and two rectangles. Am I right? So let's see. I'll say this is portion 1, portion 2, and portion 3. So for first, I can calculate area as half into base into height. So what is base over here? It is 2 and height is 1 plus. Then for the second rectangle, we calculate area by length into breadth. So if you see length into breadth, it is 1 into 1 plus. We'll see second rectangle. So see what is the length? Length is 3 and breadth is 1. So here 2 gets cancelled. So it is like this. 1 plus 1, it is 1 plus 1. So it is like this. 1 plus 1, it is 2 and 2 plus 3, it is 5. So area under the curve is 5. And immediately what student makes mistake, since they get area under the curve equal to 5, they take option C as the correct option here, because in this case option C is having answer as 5. But let me tell you, we have to get value of a naught, which is area under the curve, which is the answer as 5, but don't forget to divide by 6 also. So now this becomes the DC value, or also called as average value. So here 5 by 6 is the correct option. So you should understand where you can make mistakes, right? Let's see the next problem. A periodic rectangular signal x of t has waveform as shown in the figure. Frequency of its fifth harmonic of its spectrum is. So this is a periodic signal and they are asking you a fifth harmonic spectrum signal frequency, and some options are given. You'll understand how to get it. See, when they ask you some harmonic signal, you have to first of all calculate its original frequency. Original frequency is what we call as a fundamental frequency. And to get fundamental frequency, we should know what its time period. So let's see the time period over here. It is 4. And not only 4, it is 4 milliseconds. So this is what I'm actually talking about, a time period, right? That is positive half and negative half makes one cycle. And duration of this one cycle is 4 milliseconds. So this unit, noting down the unit is also equally important. So from this T, I can get omega directly, where this omega is called as a fundamental frequency, which is given as 2 pi by T, or it is 2 pi. T is 4 millisecond, that is 4 into 10 to the power minus 3. But let me tell you, we are not interested in omega naught, because omega naught is what we called as angular frequency. We don't want angular frequency. If you see options, we want our answers in terms of hertz. So what we are interested to calculate fundamental frequency, but not in terms of omega, we'll calculate in terms of f. Of course, if you have omega naught, just by dividing by 2 pi, you'll get f. But then we can have some easy way out. We know that a simple relation f naught is just reversal of time, which is 1 by t, which is 1 upon 4 millisecond, which is going to give you 125 hertz. So value of f naught is 125 hertz. And let me tell you, this is what we called as a fundamental frequency. So we should not get this omega naught because it is not required. But again, the formula of omega naught was correct. That is omega naught is equal to 2 pi by t. Formula was correct, but then it wasn't needed because if you see options are in terms of hertz, not in terms of radians per second. Am I right? So I have decided not to calculate omega naught, but to get f naught directly. So what we have is a fundamental frequency, right? What you need to calculate is not its fundamental frequency, but to get its fifth harmonic. And when you want to get a fifth harmonic, you should simply multiply 5 with f naught. So it is simply 125 into 5. So let me just calculate it. It is 1 upon 4 millisecond, means it is 100 divided by 4. It is 1000 divided by 4. So what do you get over here? So you must get 250 hertz instead of 125. So we should correct this to 250 hertz and not as 125 hertz. So it is like this. It is 250 multiplied by 5 becomes 1250 hertz. So option D is the correct option. So let me tell you what we have done. See, they were asking you the fifth harmonic, and that fifth harmonic is in terms of hertz. So we have decided to get f naught from given t. T is nothing but a complete time period, that is time taken by a signal to complete one cycle, which is 4 millisecond. Inverse of 4 millisecond is 250 hertz. So f naught, that is fundamental frequency, is 250 hertz. We don't want fundamental frequency. What I want, a fifth harmonic of it. So remember, when they say nth harmonic means multiplication with n. When they say fifth harmonic means you have to multiply its fundamental frequency with 5. So what you got is 250 hertz, which is fundamental frequency, multiplied by 5 becomes 1250 hertz. It was a very straightforward question. 1250 hertz is the correct answer. Let's move to the next one. Consider the signal x of t, which is n cos of n pi t plus pi by 7 plus 4 sine of 30 pi t plus pi by 8. Its power lying between the frequency band of 10 hertz to 20 hertz is. Let us try to solve this question. So I'll write that x of t. It is 10 cos of 10 pi t plus pi by 7 plus 4 sine of 30 pi t plus pi by 8. Now from this, I'll get omega 1 because this is nothing but a frequency omega 1, which is 10 pi, and from here I'll get omega 2, which is 30 pi. See what I'm trying to get its frequency components from the given signal. If omega 1 is known to me, is it possible to get f, that is frequency in hertz? Now the question is, why I'm trying to get frequency in hertz? Because we have a frequency band given from 10 hertz to 20 hertz. So it is in terms of hertz. So what we have is angular frequency. Let's try to get a normal frequency in terms of hertz. So from this, f1 is nothing but 10 pi divided by 2 pi. Please remember, omega is equal to 2 pi f, means f is equal to omega by 2 pi. So this is a very simple relation I have used. In that case, f1 is equal to 5 hertz. Secondly, from omega 2, I can get f2 by dividing 30 pi with 2 pi. So what I'll get? I'll get 15 hertz. So you know what? Frequency components of each component I know, because x of t is combination of two frequencies, out of which first frequency is 5 hertz, the other frequency is 15 hertz. Now try to understand the question. So I'll just summarize it. So first component out of x of t is having frequency as 5 hertz. So this is a 5 hertz signal, and this is having a 15 hertz signal. So both the components are sinusoidal or a cosine wave. First signal is having 5 hertz frequency, second signal is having 15 hertz frequency. So it is a combination of two signals having 5 hertz and 15 hertz frequency. I'm sure you know what I mean to say. Read the question now. You have to get a power lying between the frequency band of 10 hertz to 20 hertz. I'll try to make out what this question really means. You know what? When they say a frequency band of 10 to 20 hertz, it means they must have passed this frequency through some band pass filter. Now, what is meant by bandpass filter? See, bandpass filter is a filter which is going to allow a band of frequencies. So let me just show it to you. This x of t signal, they have passed through a bandpass filter, and such bandpass filter which is going to allow only band of frequencies from 10 hertz to 20 hertz. So they are going to allow only from 10 to 20 hertz only, and rest of the signals they are going to block. Am I right? The frequency, the incoming frequency component which will lie between 10 to 20 hertz will only allowed to flow towards out, and rest of the signals would be blocked. That's the reason why when I say the first component is having frequency as 5 hertz, it is not lying between the band. Therefore, the first component is rejected. And then if you see second component, the second component is having a frequency equal to 15 hertz, and you know what, it is lying within the frequency band, that is allowed frequency band between 10 to 20. Therefore I'll get output as second component, which is 4 sine of 30 pi t plus pi by 8. I hope you got my point. Please listen to me very carefully. Your x of t where addition of two components, that is first component and a second component. First component was having frequency as 5 hertz, second component was having frequency as 15 hertz, but since it is passed through a band pass filter which allows only those components to the output which will fit into its frequency band, therefore it is going to pass only second component as it is, and it will reject the first component. That's the reason why in output I have not taken first component, but I have written second component as it is. Now what you need to get? The power for output. So you have to get power for output. So remember, whenever you have like this, a sine omega t plus minus 5, or let's say it is in terms of cos, that is a cos of omega t plus minus 5. And if you want to calculate its power, you know that power is purely function of amplitude. It is independent of frequency and phase. That is, it is independent what is omega, it is independent what is phase. It is only function of purely and purely amplitude, and power is always a square by 2, and the unit is of course watt. In this case, if you see the output was 4 sine of 30 pi t plus pi by 8. So its frequency component is 30 pi. So we know that power is independent of frequency and phase. It is purely function of amplitude. Then power is simply amplitude square, that is 4 square divided by 2. That is 16 divided by 2, which is nothing but 8 watt. Therefore answer should be 8 watt. That is option B. Right? So this was very easy question. See, let me just summarize this question again. This x of t, we're having two components. First component frequency was 5 hertz, second frequency component was 15 hertz. Assume that this x of t is passed through some band pass filter having frequency band between 10 hertz to 20 hertz. So it has blocked first component, but it has passed second component as it is, and they are asking you power lying between frequency band of 10 hertz to 20 hertz. So only second component will take participation in power calculation. And you know that a power is independent of frequency and phase. It is purely function of amplitude. So it is simply amplitude square divided by 2 for any sine or cos signal, and this is something that we have already learned in energy and power classification of signals. We know that every sinusoidal signal, every cosine signal which is periodic in nature is always a power signal, and power for such signal is always amplitude square divided by 2, where amplitude is nothing but a peak amplitude. So peak amplitude was 4 square divided by 2 becomes 8 watt. So 8 watt is the correct answer. Thank you.